Lavelle Edwards, the late Lavelle Edwards, who won a national championship at BYU.
Lord Almighty, I feel like a cat with a long tail. Rocking chairs around me, my tail's getting caught between. Ref, you said put Jamar on fire. 15-yard penalty, why you gotta be so mean? Those conversions make me so high. Interceptions making me cry. Burrow lights my morning sky with the Bengal love. Ooh, that O-line is really a gift, yeah.
Here it is. Going for it all.
Standing in that pocket, hey Joe, why you so lift? You lost but you're the winner, ain't never gonna be no different. Cause the ratings that we're getting on account of Taylor Swift.
In the end zone. Pass.
Those conversions
It is
make me
Scherzer.
high.
Pass down the middle.
Interceptions are making me cry. Burrow lights my morning sky with the Bengal love.
Welcome to number one Bengals podcast. That is Dr. Hoji Lekrik Ismoji on the vocals, and we're joined by John Double Brain Sheeran and I'm Daddy Maktoub.
Yeah, it's like double stuff with the Oreos, but you got to pack it all into one
And
skull
it's way
cavity.
too much. It's way too much. You don't
So
need all
I want
that
to
stuff.
welcome our viewers to an alternate reality that Daddy and I are living in, where the Bengals actually won and beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. And I
like they
think
beat the Rams in the Super
A lot
Bowl.
of fans
I mean-
are in that alternate reality.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you notice, the last three biggest Bengals games have ended on officiating, John. The AFC Championship game, the Super Bowl, and this.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
None of it was their fault.
Never the Bengals.
I can't tell if John's being sarcastic, but John, let's be clear here.
Yeah, let's get the one thing clear here, John.
4th and 16,
Yeah,
and the ball is like 4 feet too high,
yeah.
and they're holding like every single Bengals defensive lineman, dragging them to the ground.
Yes.
And the official sees the ball fall to the ground, and then he throws the flag.
Yeah.
Come on, John.
In that exact order, yeah, like you just said. Do we really think, do we really believe that if the roles were reversed and it was Joe Burrow targeting Jamar Chase down there, and then the Chiefs safety got there a split second too early, even if he was playing the ball, even if it was his right to the catch point, if he contacted Jamar Chase in the back a half second before Chase went up there and there was no call, would anyone be upset? I think there would be.
Yeah,
I think you had to put yourself
Not
in
on
the
4th and
Chiefs.
16, I wouldn't have been upset. I would have said,
No?
4th and 16, the game's over, John.
And especially
it's like-
because
Game clearly wasn't over.
John,
Yeah.
whose side are you on? Hold on, John, whose side are you on?
I'm trying to be objective, man,
There's
because
no-
it's
there's
so
no such
there's-
thing.
it's
It's a
so
sports.
it's
It's
so
a sports.
unoriginal to just blame the officiating when you had an entire quarter to not turn it over and have a fumble return for a touchdown, to not drop two clear passes from accurate throws from Joe Burrow, to not lose your cool on the ref and get a 15-yard penalty that forced you to kick a field goal. Man, it's the Chiefs. Even if you believe that there is an agenda with Taylor Swift and making sure that they get all the calls and Patrick
Now
Mahomes
you're
can tell that
talking.
more
Keep
than
on going,
any
John.
other quarterback in the league. Even if you believe all of that,
Go,
that
go,
should
go.
only reinforce your priorities to make sure that you don't have a 2-point cushion. You have a 20-point cushion at the end of the game so that Patrick Mahomes can't do that.
Hold on. T. Higgins out of the game, okay?
Mhm.
Jamar Chase mentally out of the game, okay? We are left with Trenton Irvin getting 6 targets, John. 6
Not
targets,
good.
5 yards on 6
hitting him in
targets.
the stomach, hitting him in the face. The poor guy.
The ball hits him in the face.
It's very hard for him to catch a ball, and they keep asking him to do it.
Well, he can catch the ball if the ball is placed directly in his hands. It seems that if it's anywhere other than in his hands, he will not catch it, John. We didn't know this about him.
Yeah, big disservice just having him start. I've been on that train for a while.
Now, may I?
What point are you making, though?
My point is, you're saying be more than 2 points ahead when you're
I'd
on
like to
the
interject.
road.
I'd like
When
to
you're on the
interject a
road-
point that you into your non-point. You know, I'd like to say something, kind of in between your non-saying
sure.
things. Yeah. So okay. What I'm about to say is huge, and I know Bengals fans are going to hate me. Put it in the comments. Let's maybe rethink our relationship with Jamar Chase. Now hold on before you get angry. How many games has Jamar Chase lost us this year? Let's be honest. Did he or did he not create the negative energy and vibes that led to a strange performance in week 1 against the Patriots? He did. And he wasn't there mentally, but it was also the mess he made with that prima donna attitude in the locker room. Why go for a contract negotiation at the end of the summer, right as the season's beginning? Number 2, did he or did he not get the kind of fine that Marvin Lewis's Bengals used to get and Zach Taylor's Bengals have not been getting? And by that I mean a 15-yard penalty at the crucial moment just because you're an ego. Let me ask you guys a question. When in the history of football have you ever seen someone go up to a ref and say, hey, you should have called this thing that you didn't see happen? And the guy's like, oh, really? Because you said so? Okay, here's the flag. That never happened. So why do it? Why yell? Why get in trouble? I don't think he's worth the money. I don't think he's
John,
worth the drama. There are plenty of receivers out there. Anybody who's on the receiving end of Joe Burrow's football is going to do great.
Hold on.
I say use that money to pad the offense and even pad the defense. Get some stars. Goodbye, Jamar Chase. See you later. And that's my hojascope.
They have the worst receiving core currently starting outside of Jamar Chase right now, by the way, because Andre Yoshivas has not been useful outside of the red zone. And again, Trent Irwin is not good as a starter. They need Jamar Chase. They need T. Higgins, man. That's just what it is.
I don't okay. But I'm saying I don't think. Listen, who was that guy who caused all the problems and he went from team to team and he was on the Browns for some time, and before that he was, what was his name?
Was he a receiver?
Antonio Brown?
Antonio Brown was never on the Browns, but yeah.
Yeah, the guy who caused all the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I see him like that.
Pretty stark, considering a lot of things.
John. No, I think, look, John and others have pointed out that Jamar Chase he's not just a receiver, John. He could be a top 5 all-time receiver. I mean, he currently, right now, it's like him and Justin Jefferson and Calvin Johnson, I think, in terms of yards per game, right? I mean, they are, I know it's a different era, but some of the most prolific receivers ever. And
with Joe Burrow,
he's great.
And Zach Taylor, you could get those guys.
That's true. Well,
if you want those guys, get those guys.
Right now we have Trenton Irwin, and nothing against Trenton Irwin. He seems like a great guy. He has great hair. His dad had a storied career as a documentary maker. But
Crocodile Hunter. I don't think they're the same Irwin.
As a receiver, John, look, he's fun to have when you're in blowouts and you want to embarrass the other team. But yeah, the Bengals are in trouble if they don't get their guys back. John, T's hamstring, we don't know. We don't know when he's going to be able to use it again, right? And so we need Jamar Chase. We need him back mentally. And John, there's no way the deal's going to get done during the year. Just no way.
The deal is not a thing. Like, he took out an insurance policy on himself. He's good. It has nothing to do with the contract anymore. He can be frustrated with how it all happened.
He just hates, everything.
Yeah. I don't think Sunday had nothing to do with the contract. It was entirely he was just invested in the game. And he just got caught up emotionally. That's all it was.
I don't know, man. He's an adult, and that's his job. He's a professional.
Look, here's the thing.
And listen, you guys, if you really think that what you saw was just one penalty of 15 yards, I have news for you. The reason why the Bengals get breaks and don't get breaks, and certain teams get favored and certain others, is the reputation you come into the game with. Yep. And when you have the reputation of being like Marvin Lewis's Bengals, where we had a lot of calls against us because of that reputation, now Zach has worked hard to get rid of that reputation. But if your star wide receiver is cursing out, saying, flipping man, flip you. Those aren't the actual words.
There were
other words that were said, but I can't say them on air.
Well,
if he's saying those things, you're ruining your reputation.
Yeah. Okay, look, I just want to, just one other thing, John. we do have Jermaine Burton, who only had 10 snaps, but he had one of the biggest plays of the game. Everybody wants to see him on the field, but what they're saying is that, look, he doesn't have the technique or the sophistication to be a full all-around receiver. What do you think of that, John?
It'll come in time. That's what it's
So he's
pretty much for, like, I mean, most rookie receivers throughout the Bengals history hasn't started immediately week one. I think by the middle of the season, he'll have more of an adept role, and I think it'll be a slow progress towards that.
And then we don't need Jamar Chase, is what
No.
you're saying. Okay.
No.
So look, John Double Brain Sheeran just wrote an article about how the Bengals have finally evolved. And John doesn't like conspiracy theories, but here he's talking about evolution, not in the broader sense, but on the football field. And what he's saying is that the Bengals finally are using pre-snap motion. They're
There you go.
using 13 personnel. We saw the tight ends have the biggest tight end ever.
Wait,
game.
hold on.
Biggest
Can you
game.
go back?
Biggest
Can you roll
game
that back?
for a tight end. And
Are you saying
we
they have the
saw
tightest ends? Because I think that's
tightest-
inappropriate.
the biggest tightest and biggest ends
ever.
ever
I
is
don't
what
like
John is
this
saying.
at all. You are going to ruin
But here's the thing.
the childlike vibe of this show, talking about people
Look,
with tighter
here's the
ends
thing.
than other people.
This is a week after Zach Taylor and the Bengals showed no offensive creativity against the New England Patriots. And one of the biggest spokespeople for the Bengals, one of the biggest fans, one of the most insightful follows on Twitter, Willie Lutz, came out and said, we need change. 1 week after he said we need change, Zach Taylor changed. And so we have the honor
We salute
of having
you,
Willie
Willie Lutz.
Lutz on the show.
What's up, everyone? I'm super
Hello, Willie
excited
Lutz.
to be
So good to see
here.
you.
Well,
We're
nice to
so
be here.
happy. By the way, did you know, Willie Lutz, you, like Dr. Hoji, are a musician? I know you are a musician. Did you know that,
Willie
alike
Lutz?
in that way?
Well, I'm aware. I also have instruments hanging up. Mine are ahead of me, not behind me. So you were showing yours off. I think you're a step ahead of me in that department. I think that's got to be my next step as a musician, so other musicians don't have to wonder about that. If I know.
Exactly.
You're a
It is-
knight, and those are your swords. Put them on the wall. Let the peasants fear you. That's the traditional Guitar Hero way. Are yours? What do you carry? What do you dibble and dabble with, Willie Lutz?
Right now, I've just got the 2 acoustics on the wall. I got a couple Martins, not to flex on too much, but
Well,
then I
that's
got
a very
nice
expensive
Please
answer.
flex
Yeah,
all over
yeah.
him. He does it
And then
all
there's
the
a-
time. Yeah.
a Fender Jaguar over in the other room from Japan that I've had customized. It's very, very
Wow.
nice.
Wow. I
You-
like your style.
We should have like a solo competition between Dr. Hoji and
That wouldn't
Willie.
be fair, would it?
When they express their, it wouldn't be fair. Mr. Lutz, you came out and you were saying we need change. This play calling, this coaching, this is not what I want. What happened from week 1 to week 2? Is it because on the show we don't embrace conspiracy theories, but we do entertain them.
Yes.
And so, is it possible that Dan Pitcher, he comes to Zach Taylor, he says, look, what am I, roast beef? What is my job? Why can't I have a voice? Why is it all about you? I matter too. This is a partnership. It's not a one-sided affair.
You slander roast beef. It's supposed to be chopped cheese.
Oh, you're right. Chopped liver. Yeah,
Yeah.
roast beef is fantastic. So the conversation is not entirely accurate, as you can see, Willie. But you get the basic point of it. Something along those lines. Is that what happened in your mind?
So I think that there's a little bit of a kernel of truth to that, maybe, in that I think that there was that little bit of, hey, we got to change a little bit of something. We can't be the same team all over again. But I think that to address a different conspiracy theory, I think there was a little bit of something to overlooking the New England Patriots and trying to keep some things in the pocket for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think that overlooking your week 1 opponent is a hard thing to do when you're supposed to be practiced for them over and over and over again. But there they were on Sunday in Kansas City looking like a brand new team again. So maybe Dan Pitcher brought up a few different ideas. Maybe he said, hey, we got all these brand new tight ends. Maybe we want to show them all off. But I'm assuming that, I think that overlooking the Patriots probably is more the story than Dan Pitcher going to Zach Taylor and, giving him the gag order and saying, I'm taking this play sheet, coach.
Yeah. So, well, you mentioned showing off your tight ends. And so that is a question for you, Mr. Lutz. Are we going to see more and more of the showing off of the tight ends? Do you think this is a permanent change? Because I want to get your take, because I'm very excited about these tight ends. Very excited. They come in all different sizes and ages. There's rookies, there's veterans from different teams.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I think when you see the production you're getting from those guys, they're automatically going to stick on the field. But I think more importantly, and the people that are smarter than me that do a good job breaking down the X's and O's have highlighted some of the stuff that happens when you put both Drew Sample and Eric all on the field together. And as this offense kind of has those guys on the field, and they're adding more play action, and you're getting explosives out of the play action, and your run game looks more efficient because both of those guys pretty good blockers. And Eric All, man, I think that's the guy of the crop that's going to really not only make the tight end room flourish, but maybe add something to the offense that we all weren't maybe calculating yet. I think what he can do as a blocker and as a receiver is going to generate maybe as much of the tight end offense excitement as anything. And Mike G, I know that everyone's very excited about him, but Eric All, that's the guy that I think I'm really got circled.
And may I just throw in, Willie, that it's really hard to disagree with you because you literally have a halo over your head and you have the hair and the beard of a Byzantine saint. So it looks like you'd be arguing with a church icon, which I'm not going to do. But I am going to ask you a follow-up question to your statement here. So you see Dan Pitcher as having more of a role. Now, on this show, we have a lot of backs and we have a lot of forths about to what degree does the coaching staff direct this game, and as opposed to Burrow. And maybe the change from week 1 to week 2 is just a change in Burrow, and it's not really has anything to do with Dan Pitcher or Zach Taylor. Now, I don't take that perspective. I happen to think that the coaches really are the ones in charge. Daddio tends to be the one who thinks that somehow Burrow is both quarterback and doing a lot of the coaching.
I think it's interesting because it might have been more of like a Joe settling into the pitcher world after a second week of being in the whole live bullets experience. I think the big part of the Dan Pitcher experience that I was really expecting coming in is that they were just going to throw a lot more personnel at it. And it was just lots more different alignment, lots of guys lined up in different spots than we've seen in the past. And that's shined through in both weeks in different capacities. This week, it just shined a lot more. I mean, you saw a lot more life coming together out of it. I mean, we saw the big play out of Jermaine Burton, for example. I mean, in past years, you probably see your typical T. Higgins, Jamar Chase taking that rep as your outside receiver. Obviously, T. Higgins not being available, critical capacity. Maybe Trent Irwin's your guy you're taking your shot at, hoping you're getting him to win on the outside.
No one should be shooting at Trent Irwin. I know he played bad, Willie. But we don't, because of monetization, we cannot encourage violence. Maybe you should.
May I follow up one more question? This is for both Willie and John. I really want to hear your take on this. Okay, so both of you, listen up.
Yeah,
I want to go back to the Kansas City game, and I want to relive actually one of the darker times of it.
Yeah,
I want to think about both plays happened in one drive. Okay, and I think it was second down when Joe Burrow, for some reason, he just backs up and he throws the ball right into the ground. And then in the next drive, which I think was third down, he fumbles. He runs and he fumbles. Now, to me, both of those plays in that drive, if you guys remember the drive well, both of the plays in that drive indicate something, that things had gone wrong in the play. Number one, why is the play so defective that he just throws it right into the grass right away? It was like maybe 2 seconds and he just throws it. Number two, why do you got this guy who's injury prone running the ball on an important, I think it was third down, just so that he can fumble? Well, of course he's going to fumble. The poor guy's, at this point, he's like 10% titanium. Let the guy just be a QB. Thoughts?
John,
Well,
I think it's the handoff, right? It's the risk of the handoff.
The ball in the dirt, he was referring to Chris Jones recognizing that, hey, no one's blocking me. This is probably a screen. So let's just throw this ball away so it doesn't get turned over. But like Hoji just said, and they turned it over the very next play. I think like his wrist is probably maybe impacting how well he can handle like just snaps from under center. Maybe there is some ball security issues there. Again, it's a very small sample size, but that did come up a couple times in that game, more so than how you saw him throw the ball. So if there's anything to do with like his wrist impacting this game, it might have something to do with that.
So here's the question. Is this the new Bengals? Is this what we're going to see from here on out? Are we going to, or is it just because it was the Chiefs personnel and they knew that, hey, they got Chris Jones, they got this, maybe we got to have the tight ends and the backs and play a different type of, or is it because, the receiver situation? Is it going to change when T. Higgins is back? John.
I mean, I still don't know what New England was. I don't know what that game was compared to what this plan was on offense. I think it's just weird to imagine the team just be like, oh, we're going to treat this like a preseason game, just not open up the playbook entirely, especially when the game is like you're losing for most of it. So that still makes very little sense to me. But I go back to what they were trying to do in the 2023 offseason before Burrow injured his calf. There's a lot more under center actions, a lot more bootlegs, a lot more pre-snap motions, everything like that. And they had to make everything stagnant when his calf was still recovering. And once he had mobility again last year, you saw more wrinkles in the offense that looked a lot like what this game was. So I think this past Sunday was the culmination of about 2 years of evolving the offense to where it had to be, where they weren't just in shotgun running the ball constantly without generating any explosive plays. This was a critical first step to getting where they need to be as an offense. And that was where I thought, like, yeah, they are truly in the process or close to fully evolving into where they should be.
Yeah. And Willie, one of the biggest issues we had was stopping the run the first 2 games. But you tweeted something recently about Lawrence Guy, this defensive tackle that they signed away from the New England Patriots.
That was your idea, Willie?
That was Willie's idea.
Thank
just like changing up the coaching style in
He's
the
got
offense.
good choice in guitars and good choice in defensive linemen.
Yeah. Willie is really, I mean, kind of the MVP.
Now, is he also Japanese like your guitar, the line?
No, I mean, wow, I'm getting a lot of credit for transactions.
Well, that happens on this show because
Wow.
Yeah, we want you back. Yeah,
we want you back.
Yeah, well, so no, I did not have anything to do with Lawrence Guy signing with the team that I can personally confess to on the show. I do think it's exciting that they have a guy that they can plug in as a veteran who can probably take up some of the Zach Carter snaps that we've been seeing over the last few weeks. I mean, at this point, I don't think anyone in the show is going to be bummed out that they have a guy that can stand his ground a little bit in the run game. Probably not going to be what he was in his prime in New England, which was a pretty solid player. 14-year veteran in the NFL, so he's got a ton of experience, brings a Super Bowl ring. I think the big thing is holding his gravity versus some of the things you've seen from this run defense over the last few weeks. I mean, Chris Jenkins coming back will be big too. But Sheldon Rankins and BJ Hill both got knocked out and seem like iffy for Washington at best. I mean, hopefully we have them moving forward and down the line. But I think Lawrence Guy being a veteran and, again, just being able to, hold up runs and not get completely cleared out of the way will be pretty big because, I mean, that's going to be a big part of stopping the run at all. I mean, that'd be nice to do,
I agree. Here's the thing, Willie. We have a couple of games coming up, and they're not as hard as last week, but they are about as hard as we thought week 1 was. A lot of people are saying Bengals are going to go on a run, but they didn't go on a run in week 1. They didn't even win week 1. And so...
Before, because you're about to say predictions, right?
Predictions. I want to get John's prediction. Yeah.
Because I want to make my prediction, and because I'm the one who tends to be on the show, the one who's right. I want to get some information from John real quick before I do. I have one question. It's a quick one. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
John. what on earth? Because double brain John,
Double brain
he
John.
studies offensive line. That's one of the things that he specializes in. He's a doctor in offensive line. John, can you help me understand what is going on at the snap? I saw like 3 or 4 times that the ball was snapped too high, and I saw at least one time that Joe Burrow had to do that jump on the grenade thing, where they snapped it in a way where it didn't even go right into his hands. Is there a problem that we don't know about, and might this, kind of develop later? This problem.
Can I
Like
answer that?
Like
John?
99% sure. I just answered that with his wrist.
He answered with the wrist, but also he had
You
a
think that's
surgery.
his wrist? Because when a snap is too high, that's not the wrist.
Well, every time you have surgery, your body shrinks a little bit. The part where you have the surgery is never the same size.
Very nice.
Sorry, John. I didn't mean
Sorry.
to interject,
Okay.
but
We can go to predictions now. I didn't realize about the shrinking.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Obviously, he's shrunk.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. John. Okay. Prediction. Washington Commanders. Go.
Bengals scored at least 27 points in a victory. Jaden Daniels and Brian Robinson are going to have a lot of success running the ball, but Daniels is very careless and he puts his body on the line. He's going to get hurt before he knows it. He almost did get hurt against the Giants, but Washington has a pretty good rushing offense. Their offensive line, though, not very good. So I think combining that with the Bengals' lackluster interior defensive line is kind of a push. So I think the Commanders will have a good day running the ball, but the Bengals are going to continue to let teams run on them if their pass defense looks as good as it has been the past couple of weeks. And I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to have that great of a day throwing the ball. So I think the Commanders will score some points, maybe 27-17, but this is the worst secondary in the league that Washington has. And Jamar Chase is playing on Monday Night Football with a lot to prove. I think he goes off for well over 100 yards to the touchdown.
Wow. So Jaden Daniels is the quarterback, is what I understood from that for the Washington Commanders. Okay. And Lou Anarumo was probably going to give him a very, very confusing game plan, is what I assume. So
well,
that's
I
good.
think you can give him the game plan all at once, but like Daniels is very reckless and he just tries to run and he tries to do a lot, and that's going to work at some point, right? It's going to lead to some big plays, and I think the Bengals defense can be a little bit confused at times, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough because again, the Bengals offense should be primed to throw the ball all over the Commanders secondary.
Okay. Well, John, I know you have another commitment. Whenever you need to jump off, thank you, Mr. Double.
Matt Willie knows ball on Believe Podcast Network. Believe in Cincy. Go listen to it.
Love it.
Yeah, that's well. He did the promotion for us. That saves us a lot of time because I actually, we want to welcome you. I never did officially send you the gift that you get when you join the Believe family. We are also on Believe. I don't know if you know this, Willie, but we were the first ever Bengals podcast on Believe, and it's called the #1 Bengals podcast. And we've been there so long that they forgot we existed. They refused to promote our show.
Really, they
anywhere
used
or
to
listen
send us
the
black
podcast.
T-shirts, and then it like a father who has abandoned his child and forgotten every single birthday. Not only do they not send us black T-shirts, we're not sure they know we exist.
We're hoping they don't know, because if they do, we lose the platform. That is the
That's got to give you guys some sort of identity crisis, wondering whether you exist. I mean, that'd be a big question to me if they just stopped knowing I exist.
No, they couldn't. All the good podcasts they are on top of. They are promoting them and sharing them. Yeah. So
This is a
doing
good
job.
podcast. Come on.
We'd like to think so.
Yeah, we appreciate that, really. That means a lot. But okay, really, we need to get Dr. Hodges' prediction before we get yours, because we have a serious prediction and then one of ours and then another serious one. So
Well, that's
sorry.
funny
No,
you should
okay,
say-
yeah. No, wait.
That's
Yeah,
an
go ahead.
odd way to introduce me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now watch. This is gonna be very serious, actually.
No,
Because
no, I don't think so.
yes, there's a lunar eclipse this week,
There we go.
and
See what I mean?
Mercury is going to be actually contrafactual to Neptune. Now, we all know that Joe Burrow, as I said many times on the show, Sagittarius. How's this looking for him? Well, great question. Okay. Number one, let me remind the audience that last week I predicted the Bengals' loss. And what I said when people asked about that loss is I said, he's going to take 2 weeks to warm up. And when he does, he will catch on fire, as will the rest of the world. Hence why I sang the song Hunka Hunka Burn in Love. I think you're about to see a Joe Burrow that's going to be unleashed onto the world that we have never seen in seasons previous. Yes, the lunar eclipse, the moon will escape from its eclipse. You've got these these planets facing each other. Everything is set for the, shall I say, second coming of Burrow. I'm sorry to use a sacrilegious language, but you follow my point.
Well, we all have the imagery with Willie right there in front of us.
Right. Imagine Willie,
Yeah,
but now put the helmet on him. And,
helmet and the ball, yeah.
So I think it's going to be a smear campaign where they're going to be smearing the Washington Commanders on the field. And it's going to be beautiful. I think Bengals fans everywhere will walk outside and it will rain down upon them in orange and black. This is like a Nostradamus type prediction. And I think it is the beginning of the end for all anti-Bengalism out there. And the people will jump on the bandwagon as you had never seen them jump before. I think tomorrow is the beginning of the beginning for the Cincinnati Bengals. Not tomorrow, I mean Sunday. I mean the game. And that is my horoscope.
Wow. That was a lot. Willie, can we have a real prediction from you, please?
That was very real.
That was very dramatic. I don't know if I can do raining down orange and black, but I do like a pretty good day for the Bengals offense, kind of like John was teasing earlier. I think that raining the ball down the field to Jamar Chase, and I think here's where the prediction's really going to start. I think T. Higgins being back is really going to set this thing into gear.
Yeah.
Wait,
Did
Willie,
everything?
is it going to be back? Are you announcing it here?
I can't confirm.
He's going to be back. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Really reading the tea leaves is, as I say, things happen.
So you use tea leaves. I use coffee grinds,
Yes.
but hey, tomato.
Yes, tea leaves are easier to clean up, so you can if that's ever easier for you. But anyway, I like the Bengals going down the field of the receivers. I mean, I don't know if Emmanuel Forbes is playing in this game. I know he was banged up in week 1. I can't remember if I saw him in week 2, but both of the Bengals receivers are more physical than him, and I like their odds of winning on the outside. I've watched the Commanders a little bit in week 2. I didn't think that was going to be a very promising matchup for them against the Bengals coming up. I think that they will run the ball pretty well against Cincinnati, particularly with those 2 defensive tackles out. Again, we already know this team struggles to stop the run with them. Without him, it scares me quite a bit. I think that Jaden Daniels will have success. I think the Commanders struggling ends up coming down to struggling in the red zone. It does 2 things. The Bengals already have been a pretty good red zone defense again. 2023 was hopefully just a blip, but the Lou Anarumo defenses and Joe Burrow have been pretty happy to be in the red zone. So I think that the Commanders struggle in the red zone despite getting some trips down there. Maybe get 1 score down there. So score about 18 points. I think, 28 points for the Bengals. Let's call them 4 touchdowns or so, just to call it 4 clean touchdowns.
I like it. Keep it clean.
28.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's how this thing's turning out.
Great.
28, the Bengals will score.
Yes. And the Commanders will score.
Commanders
Let me
less.
20. Let's just go 18. They're going to kick 5 field goals. No
18.
touchdowns.
Okay.
Keep it legal.
Yeah.
Keep it legal.
Let's go clean.
Okay.
Yeah, let's keep it legal.
Okay,
Yeah.
so wow. Hoji, I don't know if there's a point in playing the game if Willie has already told us the outcome. But here's my thing.
The
Willie,
Book of
okay?
Willie.
The Book of Willie. I have seen all over the internet. Everybody's like, look, the Bengals are 0-2. It doesn't matter. I even saw Colin Cowherd just recently talking about Bengals. They've gone 0-2 like 5 of the last 6 years or something. He's like, it doesn't matter with that.
It's tradition.
And he was like, this team is so good. Don't worry about them. They're going to win 6 of their next 7. A lot of people are like, hey, okay, we're 0-2. We lost this nail biter, but don't worry. We got these easy games. My thing is this. I didn't even know who the quarterback of the Washington football team was until John told me 10 minutes ago. I have no idea who the running back is. I don't know anybody on their team. And I follow the NFL extremely closely. So
Doesn't sound like you do.
Well, it's relevant. It's relative. So I would say this. When you have such a no-name team, and where is the game being played? See, I don't even know that. That's how little I care about the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
But it's Ring of Honor night.
It is, so it's probably in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
and so
it's
here's
Ring
the
of Honor
thing.
night in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati. So there you go.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor night. And you're going to have everybody is so like, hey, this is our night.
Can I just ask,
That-
if you know so little, why do you have a podcast about the Bengals?
Because I'm a lifelong learner. I bring people like Willie and John, the double brain Sheeran, on here so
double
that I can learn. It is part of my humility. Look, Willie, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Every time everything is aligned for the Bengals to win, and we're all excited, you know what happens. You know, you've been a Bengals fan long enough. It blows
Been
my
around.
face. So I am predicting that the Commanders will upset the Bengals. It will be an upset, yes. And the final score will be 35-13 Cincinnati. That is my prediction.
Wait a minute. 35 to Cincinnati would imply,
Right.
in a ridiculous sort of way,
Sure.
that while the Washington Commanders are upsetting the Bengals, somehow the Bengals are scoring more? Can you please clarify? I'm confused.
Wow. Okay. So when you upset someone,
Yeah.
you are preparing them for the next biggest step for success. Some people say set up or upset. You are getting them ready.
Upset. Okay,
Right.
hold on. There's
And
quite
so
a
the Bengals-
linguistic. There's a little
Yeah.
bit of a linguistic
No. Hold
setup
on.
here.
So the
because
Bengals-
you say set up, but
Some
now
people say
it's-
upset. It doesn't matter. You can move. Look, you can move the prepositions around in sentences.
Okay, I'm
really.
with you. I'm with you
You can,
now.
right?
Okay.
Prepositions can move around.
They're setting them up by upsetting. Go ahead.
And they are going to go on a streak after this, thanks to the Washington football team. So they will upset them.
They're setting
we
them up for a
appreciate that.
streak, hence they're upsetting them.
Yes. Finally, you get it. Willie, it was clear, right?
I think that all made perfect sense.
Thank you.
I don't understand what could be unclear about it, to be completely
This
honest. I was
is
following
what I
it
deal
from
with
the
every
start.
week here,
Yes.
Willie. It's not like
Yes.
this on your podcast. Can I come on your podcast? Can we call it
Willie, let's learn
Willie,
a little bit about
Matt,
who you are,
and
Willie.
Daddy-O.
Let's learn a little bit about who you are. What's your podcast's name?
Willie and Matt? Matt and Willie know football.
And who's Matt?
Yo.
Matt Minich.
Yes, so,
Matt
yes,
Minich.
that's
Matt,
Coach
I know
Matt
Matt
Minich,
Minich. We're
yeah.
friends.
Matt Minich was on our show.
Yeah, I know. He's the offensive line specialist, like John.
Yeah. Well, he was a coach. Yeah.
He's a coach, of course, Coach Matt. And Willie, how long you been a Cincinnati Bengals fan, Willie?
Oh, I just turned 28, so that long.
So almost 20, yeah.
So
29
all your
years.
life, all your short 28 years.
Oh yeah.
Jesus lived to be 33, so just watch out.
Oh, I'll keep my eyes out.
Yeah.
Or get a haircut. I'll do whatever comes first.
So, wow, Willie, you didn't really experience the dark ages of the Bengals. Congratulations. But you did see the 2015 playoff game. So,
Oh yeah, I was there for that.
oh, you actually went to the game.
No, I didn't.
Willie
I-
is
although I
rich.
do have a story.
Yeah.
My family managed to buy Jeremy Hill's TV that he returned to H.H. Gregg before that game, literally
Wow.
the day of that game.
Wow.
And then watched him fumble on that TV. So
See, Jeremy clearly didn't have his priorities in order. He was
That was
thinking
such a
about-
heartbreaking fumble, too. And to watch it on the TV that he owned.
yeah,
That would have been sad.
pretty rough.
So wow. So Willie, you also were the one when
That's
the
when he
Bengals
announced the world and
revealed,
became the Willie Lutz we know today.
well, when the Bengals revealed their jerseys on eBay, you said, "Hey, I like these jerseys," and so they were going to change the jerseys. But when you said, "I like the jerseys," they decided to keep them, and they invited you to a secret. They invited you to a secret event where you got to wear the jerseys and like play football with them and go on the whole like throne and all that. So that was another important Willie moment.
Let it be eBayed. Let it be done, said Willie.
Yeah, I think anything going forward, they should just put on a really crappy plastic hanger, and I'll give my opinion on it. If I say yay, it goes. If I don't like it, it's probably got to go. They should ask me about the orange pants ahead of time. I would have told them it's going to result in a week 1 loss, but they didn't want to listen.
Willie, look, can you just tell them everybody likes the Tiger logo better? Everybody. They would sell so much more apparel. If they
I like
the
the
leaping
tiger.
tiger.
You like the tiger better, Willie?
I like the head of the tiger and the leaping tiger. I want both back in our
Yeah.
lives. I want
See?
not primary and secondary.
Yeah.
More tigers, the better.
Yes.
Well, Willie, I think that's really all we have. I guess if you have any questions, you can get the rest of your questions answered here, patreon.com/dhsports. It's where we have all of our answers to football trivia
Yeah.
and things. That's
That
just have to sign up.
Patreon.com
Yeah.
/DH Sports is a place you can go to for everything you need. You can buy things on it. You can get the weather. You can, use it instead of Google.
Yeah. Use it instead of Google. And Willie, we actually sang a song about it.
This is
Would you
really
like us
important,
to
Willie.
sing?
Willie,
the
I need
song
you to
for
listen, Willie.
You are interested in hearing us sing.
Let it fly, guys.
You can join in if you want. We can just if you want to harmonize with. But Willie, here's the thing. We can't see your face very well, but I know you're gonna probably cry at some point. And that's okay.
There comes a time when the Bengals break your heart, when the fans must come together as one.
There are grown men crying. Oh, so it's time to make them laugh.
With jokes, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day. At 89, Mike Brown will suddenly change.
Oh, we're all a part of this football travesty. And so we speak. You know the truth is never free. We want the cash. We want the monies. We want the change that's underneath your couch to feed our tummies.
There's another thing here, supporting Hodges' wives.
Stop saving for a rainy day. Give it to me.
Oh, really? Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
I just
to.
get so choked up.
Yeah.
It's for a good cause, Willie, which is
Really, it
supporting
is.
the show. Because Belief doesn't support us anymore. I don't know how I'm going to buy the black t-shirts.
Yeah. And
play
you
it
really
again.
can't get enough of that song, but I think one time will be enough for this week. All right. Well,
And what should they put in the YouTube comments? And they should thumbs up
Yeah.
it, and they should like it,
Okay.
and they should love it, and they should
What-
subscribe to it.
what they should put is, are the Bengals going to go on a streak? What do you think, Willie? Is that a good one?
I think they should answer my question, which Willie never answered, which is, should we get rid of Jamar Chase at some point in the near future?
I don't think Willie wants that.
Willie.
Who in the world wants that?
Nobody wants that.
Nobody
The,
wants
the idea was floated on the show.
I heard
It was.
It was wild.
It was. And here's the thing. What is also being floated on the show is Willie's podcast. It is called Willie and Matt Know Football, or Matt and Willie. Either way. Just like Upset and Set Up. It is interchangeable. But check it out. It is on Believe. Like our podcast. Yes, we have a podcast. And that's really it. I want to thank Mr. Willie Lutz for being on our show and being such an important part of Bengals history. Thank you, Mr. Lutz.
Thank you, Willie.
Thanks to you guys. This was a hoot.